This is Lewis Ritson and you're watching Sport Icons.
So the British Boxing Board of Control have released a statement in regards to Terry O'Connor and his judging, his officiating at the Lewis Ritson and Miguel Vazquez fight, where he gave it to Lewis Ritson by a very, very wide margin. And this is what the British Boxing Board of Control had to say about him, his performance, and of course the use of potentially a mobile phone. Most of you would have seen the imagery. Anyway, that's what they had to say. The British Boxing Board of Control judge, Mr. Terry O'Connor, appeared before the stewards of the board to discuss his performance at the tournament held on the 17th of October 2020 at the East of England Showground Arena, Peterborough. Allegations made on social media and the print media as to Mr. O'Connor using a mobile phone or similar handheld device were considered. Following extensive consideration of footage and Mr. O'Connor's evidence supplied, the stewards are satisfied that Mr. O'Connor was not in possession of any telephone or handheld device while carrying out his duties as a judge at the contest between Lewis Ritson and Miguel Vazquez, and his scoring of the bout was not affected in any way. In addition, Mr. O'Connor's scoring of the bout was considered, and whilst judging a contest is subjective, and following Mr. O'Connor's explanation of how he scored the bout, the stewards are satisfied that Mr. O'Connor's final scoring reflected his own opinion of the contest. There you go. British Boxing Board of Control statement. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm a huge fan of Lewis Ritson. Of course, I know him like many other fighters, and I'm very biased with it. But, you know, I can be biased because I don't have a British Boxing Board of Control license. I have no sway, no influence, so I'm allowed to be so. Now, I can make a strong case for Lewis Ritson winning the fight. I know I'll be in the minority, but you guys have seen me do it time and time again, as and when needed. I can do that, okay? But even I couldn't give Lewis Ritson a scorecard like that. I couldn't. I really couldn't. I could say Lewis Ritson won the fight by a round or two. Of course I could. Miguel Vazquez, he kept landing on his gloves more often than not, which is true, he did. So I could argue that case, but a wide scorecard like that, no, I just couldn't. I really couldn't. Now, are the British Boxing Board of Control, are they likely to do something about Mr. Terry O'Connor? Of course not. Of course not. He's an A-class referee, he's an A-class judge. He's part of their elite bracket. In other words, he's untouchable. That's how it is. The last thing in the world that they want to do is discipline him or release him. He's been there long enough. He knows enough stuff to push that red button to release dirt on so much of what goes on there. They wouldn't dare. They wouldn't dare touch him. So, and he knows that. And he knows that. Believe me, I've been around business long enough. My background in project management, I've been in countless meetings, one-on-one chats, off-the-record chats. I see corruption. I see it. Terry O'Connor has certainly seen it at the British Boxing Board of Control. Of course he has. Now, is he incompetent? Nope. I don't think he's incompetent. I think he knows exactly what he's looking at. And I think he knows exactly what it was that he was doing. Was he paid any kind of bonus money from Sky, Matchroom, MTK, etc.? Nope. For me, I think that he's done it. Again, it's just my opinion. I think that he's done it because he enjoys the perks of a huge event, a televised event such as Sky Sports and Matchroom, what they provide. The travel, the accommodation, the food, the beverages, all the kind of perks that go with it. Much better than going to a small hall show where you don't get as much for your travel. The accommodation, not nearly as nice. The food, not as good. You're not really rubbing shoulders with anybody who many people give a damn about. For me, I think Terry O'Connor likes the A-star treatment. That's why I think he's done it. So he keeps on getting invited back. As much as Sky and Matchroom say that scoring was disgusting, blah, blah, blah. Oh, well, nothing you can do about it because they can't pick and choose who the judges are going to be. They just go to the board, we need 3 judges on this day and a referee for this particular fight. And they will send whoever. Terry O'Connor is one of their officiates. So it is what it is. Now, as I said, I don't think that he's incompetent whatsoever. Now, as far as the telephone incident goes, I'm quite prepared to believe that. I'm quite prepared that it wasn't a mobile phone. He's been around long enough. He knows, and he wouldn't be ballsy enough or brassy enough to bring out a mobile phone. He ain't going to do that. I'm quite happy to believe that it was his scorecard or something like that. I said it before, images can show 1,000 things. It really can. And for me, I'm quite happy to believe there was not a telephone. But that scorecard was terrible. And not for the first time. Now, I don't keep track of who the judges are, who the referees are. I just don't. It's never been something that I really care about. It really isn't. Terry O'Connor could walk past me on the street. I wouldn't know who the hell he is, because I just don't look out for these guys. I don't retain information about them. But I've heard that he's done this many, many times. Again, this is not a reflection on Lewis Ritson. This is not a reflection on Sky. It's not a reflection on Matchroom. It's not a reflection on anybody other than Terry O'Connor. And when they talk about subjectivity, that's my biggest problem. Subjectivity. Why is it subjective? Why is scoring about subjective? It shouldn't be subjective. Because Terry O'Connor, he likes attacking fighters more than defensive ones. Another judge may like defensive ones more than attacking. Another judge may look at something different and score. It shouldn't be that way. It should be a standard of this is how you score a fight. And they all should be following that same thing. And I know that the British Board of Control say, well, there's 3 judges and that's why you have 3 judges, so they can all have like their own little input so we get a rounded view and the rightful winner should come out. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, how do you fix such a thing? You kind of can't, can you? I know football have made steps with the online technology and all that kind of stuff. In boxing, you can't really do that. Judges, they don't have the benefit of replays. They don't have anything like that. So how do you do it? I don't know. An odd number of referees, of course. You should have 3 or 5 or 7, for sure. You should have, for me, I think the only way to stop this kind of thing happening is if you have 3 judges for the first 4 rounds, 3 judges for the next 4 rounds, and then 3 judges for the final 4 rounds. I know it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but at least that way you're not going to have one referee who's standing out, are you? You ain't going to have it. For me, that's probably the only way to fix it that I could possibly think of. You guys will probably have much bigger and better ideas than what I do. But either way, Terry O'Connor, nothing was ever going to happen. As I said, he probably holds too much information on those involved. The last thing Charlie Giles and Robert Smith and many others want is Terry O'Connor releasing an autobiography. That's the last thing in the world that they want, isn't it? So they're going to keep him sweet. They're going to go, whoa, come on, Terry. They're all talking about you here. Let's think of something to write out. Let's think about this statement. Don't be surprised if he wrote that himself. Anyway, drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you all in the next video.